Make sure you go and check out this video. It connects to the video that I am doing today. So make sure you go and check it out. Click the like button, even comment on it. Let me know what you think. What's going on, people? Jada Black here. I am back with another video. Shout out to everybody that is tuning in. I really do appreciate it. I want to talk about a very sad story. And y'all know I am a fan of football. I watch sports very closely. And the one thing I do watch very closely is high school recruiting. High school recruiting is very interesting to me because you see these young athletes go from being in high school, 16, 17, 18 years old, having to make big choices about where they're going to attend college, and where they're going to start the next chapter of their lives. And like the guy that I'm going to be speaking about, Dorial Beckham, he is a very highly recruited football player. Okay? He was basically the top player in the high school football recruiting rankings. Okay? But I'm also going to talk about how basically his career is all but over at 25 years old. So to go from 1 minute being the number one player in high school to by the time you're 25 being unemployed and you're in and out of trouble and you have no prospects of getting back into the NFL. The NFL has pretty much left you. They've considered you damaged goods. And I'm going to talk about how his childhood and the things that he had dealt with early in his years damaged him forever. Dorial Beckham is a native of Springfield, Missouri. He's 6'5", 237 pounds. He was a little bit smaller than that when he went to Missouri, which is the team he ended up going to. He was the top player in the 2012 high school recruiting rankings by Rivals. I think ESPN may have had him like third, I believe, that year. And he ended up going to Missouri. He started off okay, but during his second season, he got busted for weed, and it got bad to the point to where the head coach, who promised him all these great things that he was going to be able to do with him when he got to Missouri, basically said, you know what, man, you're a distraction. We're going to cut you from the team. Because I think they even knew, and this is going to be a trend in his career, they knew by the second year that there was something wrong there. Okay? Now let's go back a little bit. Let's go back. Growing up, him and his brother, in and out of foster homes. They were homeless. The mother was on drugs. He didn't even know, I don't think he knew who his father was, or his father wasn't in the picture. He ended up getting adopted by the Beckhams. They ended up adopting him and his brother. Okay? This is early on in high school. And I don't think he never really got over that psychological damage. And it plagued him because he got in trouble a lot when he was in school. But it did not keep him from getting to Missouri. Okay? They gave him a structure. They gave him a family. Yes, this family's white. Almost identical to The Blind Side. But the difference is Michael Orr was able to grow and actually function in that environment with that family to where he didn't get in trouble like that. He got to the NFL and had a pretty decent career. But Dorial Beckham got kicked off of Missouri, went to Oklahoma. Didn't even get on the field because he was ineligible. So ended up going in the second round to the Tennessee Titans. And by the end of the first season, they released him. He goes to the Eagles, plays for one season. Before the beginning of the 2017 season, they released him. So the NFL has given up on him. And it's a trend. In college, they gave up on him after 2 years. The Titans gave up on him after 1 year. The Eagles basically gave up on him after 1 year. That's a trend because he was a guy who did not work hard. He was a guy who did not want it. Him being 6'6" and 230 pounds, he felt like he didn't have to work as hard as everybody else because he had gotten in trouble so much. He was given so many opportunities that he didn't feel the need to change. And when you don't get counseling, if you don't get people who can direct you mentally, all those things that he went through in his childhood, just he never was able to get past that. And it drove him to the weed. And I talked about this in my video, okay? In my video about Josh Gordon, how he can't stay off the weed. But now he's saying that it's a mental illness because he can't stay off the weed. I think that these guys understand right from wrong, but when you have personal issues that you've never gotten over, you basically being in and out of foster homes, going from family to family, knowing nothing but dysfunction. No matter where you end up, even if you end up with a really good, decent family who's able to give you who's able to give you an era of, a room to really grow and not have to worry about anything. To know that you're not going to go anywhere. They adopted you. All you have to do is go to school and play sports. I don't think that was enough. And that was because of the issues he had earlier in his life. Now, what propelled me to make this video is that he has been in and out of trouble this year. Okay. The first time he was in trouble this year, the judge basically gave him a slap on the wrist and told him how great of an athlete he was for the state of Missouri and how they were rooting for him. That's the wrong thing he needs to hear. He needs tough love. Because what ends up happening is a couple of months later, a SWAT team basically is at his house or at a house that he is in, demanding that he comes out over weed, over DWI. And in the process of them trying to apprehend him, he tries to jump out of a window. This is a 6'5", 230 some odd pound man. And of course, they were able to get him and arrest him and take him to jail. This is a guy who had structure, but he doesn't have that structure anymore. I don't know if there's a rift between him and his adopted family, but obviously they're not giving him the guidance that, maybe they have. Maybe they've washed their hands of him. But it is sad because I believe he has a younger brother who needs him. His brother probably is a little older now. But I think one of the flaws of broken and damaged men are men with talent. Broken and damaged men with talent and ability will always get second and third and fourth chances instead of getting the tough love that they need. In this situation, that's what he needs. His mother's not really his biological mother's not really in the picture, and his father's not in the picture. That has a very negative effect on young men. This is why you have so many issues now. This is why you see crime going on with younger males, because they don't have the structure, the family, their parents. They need that love from their parents, but they never have it. All they know is basically being in dysfunctional situations, and it damaged Dorial, a guy with so much ability and so much talent, go to waste. And that's not even the important thing. The important thing is for him to stay out of jail, because this is only going to escalate because he has an addiction to weed. If you're jumping out of windows to avoid a team of police officers, bro, you're getting high just a little bit too much. You're getting high just a little bit too much, Dorial. Dorial needs help. He needs people around him who cares about him, who doesn't care about his career first. But the reason why I'm bringing up his career, because I want people to understand that this guy is 25 years old and he may never get another opportunity in the NFL. Now, you do have the Canadian Football League. You got the XFL that's going to be starting in 2020. But he needs professional help. He needs a psychiatrist. He needs loving people around him, not people who are going to use him, not people who are around him because of who he is. The NFL is done with him. Now, there's always opportunities to get back into the NFL. He's only 25 years old. But it's not going to be anytime soon because they don't feel like mentally he can handle it. He was always the last to show up and the first to leave. That's the reputation he gained in Philadelphia. And the guy was only in the league for a couple of years. Second round pick, number one wide receiver or the number one player in high school, according to Rivals.com, who's unemployed and has a lot of free time on his hands. And the one thing you don't want to give somebody who probably have ADHD, who has a weed addiction, is give them more time off. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. And people want to legalize weed. You know what? Legalizing weed, I'm not opposed to it. But you got to understand there are people who get addicted to it to the point to where it takes over their life. Some of these people need to have some kind of ruling that they don't take weed, that they have to deal with their issues in another way. Abusing weed and other drugs is not the answer. And I don't think that it's just weed. It could be other things that's going on with him. But this is the second video I made about an athlete who can't get off the weed. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that when you got a bunch of yes people around you, when you have a whole community that seems to care more about your playing ability than trying to help you as a person, that's a problem. And that's what I see with this situation with Dorial Green Beckham.